You know, it's almost like your birthday with a package from China, so let's go. Because we're going to take a close look at a product that is still very interesting, but is it still up to date nowadays? Simply when you're looking at the Super Console X line, or better said, this is a mini PC with some Bolocera on it. We do have the option to play a lot of retro stuff, and is this something still great nowadays, or is it just going to be absolutely overpriced and obsolete? That I just wanted to talk about today, and just to see if this thing is worth picking up. Infinite number of mini PCs or game boxes that we actually can play retro games with. Some of them are quite expensive and some are like dirty cheap and some are even absolutely horrible build quality. Yep, there are many different ways to play, but in this video I just wanted to talk about the Super Console X, the Xenon edition, or it's also called as the Super Console X, the Supreme edition. But how will this machine hold up when it comes all of the different competitions nowadays? To be honest, Bolocera, I just love this piece of software. You can grab yourself a mini PC that costs like 150 euros, or let's say $150, and have like way better performance than the Raspberry Pi. I'm not the biggest fan of Pi, but it doesn't really influence my personal opinion about this. So having all kinds of different Emulation or Android boxes, but still both are great, but the mini PC has so much to offer. Not particularly this one, the Xenon or the Supreme version, they are selling this for quite a lot of money, and in my opinion it's sometimes a little bit overpriced if you're looking at it, especially now when the cheaper stuff or particularly cheaper mini PCs are getting more powerful. You're going to get way better performance for your money. But also depending what kind of games you want to emulate. If you just want to emulate some 8-bit, 16-bit stuff, the cheap, let's say Emulation boxes are fine. I think when it comes to arcade, there we're going to get the first noticeable difference. And what do I mean with this? Deep diving into the MAME emulator. Killer Instinct is one of those awesome games from the 90s. And this cannot be played on the Raspberry Pi or on an Emulation or Android box. And the mini PC, even the cheaper ones, have the option to emulate it without any problems. Tekken is one of those games I really love to play from MAME. But they don't run on the cheap boxes. Of course we can always use the PlayStation 1 emulator, but it is not perfect at all compared with the original arcade games. And with the mini PC you can just even play all the way up to Tekken Tag, a game that struggles on cheaper boxes sometimes, so that is something you need to take consideration. So when you're looking at the Xenon version, or maybe in the future they will sell another one with just an i7 in it or an i5, they are mostly like more powerful than the cheap $150 boxes. It comes with a beautiful metal looking case, front USB port, Type-C at the front, an on-off switch and even a headphone jack out. At the back we're going to get different kind of signal outputs. We do either have a display port or just having an HDMI connection. USB ports enough to all the controllers being hooked up, and even an RJ45 connector twice. We're not going to really need it, but I think it's pretty damn cool to have different ways to play our games on different kind of monitor or different outputs. Even implementing a dual Wi-Fi, I think it's a very interesting piece of equipment. It comes with an original Intel Wi-Fi chipset in the inside. And when you're looking at the machine, it's absolutely great and high quality. They implement only one RAM slot, or at least like use one single RAM. It's kind of weird because with dual boot we do have like a little bit better performance. They didn't implement it, but you have even an NVMe that you can even flash with Bolocera, click it in, and we have like this gaming machine. It comes packed up with a very nice cooler, and this thing is not very loud at all. The mini PC comes with Windows pre-installed, Windows 10 and maybe in the future Windows 11. They're using the King Fast SSDs most of the time. You will not find Samsung or other, let's say, familiar brands that often. And the same also implements when it comes to RAM modules. Another interesting thing that we find this tiny connector on the main board. That will be connecting with the hard drive with a special adapter. This is the 2 TB that basically contains all of the Bolocera files that you're going to get with the machine. It's kind of cool that it uses dual boot, but in the end when you're looking at the chipset you don't have a GPU, so you cannot really play high demanding games on Windows. So for me, if I'm going to build this thing, I would like only slap a hard drive in it, so we can just use it with Bolocera and actually use it like an emulator machine. Where they ask quite a lot of money for it, when you're looking nowadays on the spec list, it's not like supremely great. It's just a GPU that is an Intel HD 530 with an Intel Xeon that is comparable with an i7, I think it was the 6th generation. And overall the spec list is not great, and it's great for emulation, don't get me wrong, but if you want to get into the Windows gaming, there's nothing much you can do with it besides playing some indie games. The first time I booted up this machine, I was quite surprised that we do have this weird image. And the image, I think they just grabbed it from the internet or something, because it's completely in Spanish. A little bit of a bummer, because some also games that will be in Spanish too. And doesn't make this product completely useless, because most of the text are just in English. But when you're looking at it, I was thinking, why didn't they put the extra effort in to make everything English and not Spanish? Nevertheless, I really love the overall of the layout. I think it's still one of my favorite ones. It's kind of chaotic with the different subjects and even like having extra subjects. So we have like the platforms, but you also have like different collections when it comes. Think about Killer Instinct, and makes it look like absolutely crazy long and extended. And that is something I do like with BottleShare. There is so much stuff we can play. So when you're looking at PlayStation 1, the cheap stuff can play PlayStation 1 without any hassle. So that's the reason I just wanted to start from this point on. Also, Naomi is one of the systems that we finally do get like a very good overall experience. So buying a 600 Intel Xeon mini BottleShare PC is not really needed when you want to play those platforms. Where it's going to be quite interesting is that we're going to have like way better performance when it comes to Sega Saturn. Where you need to spend like 200 and more on a say Super Console X device that runs on Android, and that's very choppy performance. And overall when it comes to Sega Saturn, the mini PCs don't have any problem running the games in original resolution, and maybe with some machines we can even upscale it to a little bit higher resolution, where the normal Android boxes have only problems with that. Another system that is available on Super Console X Android versions with Emulation. We're just going to get ourselves the PlayStation Portable that doesn't run, in my opinion, that great. A lot of problems, but when you're looking into the mini PCs, we had so much more better performance and higher resolutions. I can just enjoy myself some PlayStation Portable on my television with an Intel Xeon that is basically powering this Super Console X Supreme. And the overall performance were surprisingly quite good. And when you're looking at it, also with mini PCs that are way cheaper, we're going to get so much better performance. So PlayStation 2, when looking at the FPS, it's quite good. But you can see already more like this has some rendering issues, and I did see it before. And I'm guessing this is not because we're playing this on BottleShare, but I think it's more like a problem with the emulator itself. And hoping in the future stuff like this and glitches will be fixed. I did notice a hiccup from the beginning, but when you're looking at the overall performance, it is running on a stable FPS. And I'm very pleased to see that we're having a system finally that can run GameCube pretty good. This game I have tested it on many systems before, like the Pi 4 and the Console X, and had a lot of issues. But with the Super Console X PC edition, finally we can play without any lag, any weird glitches or other problems. So where they keep selling this Super Console Supreme with a Xenon in the inside. But depending what you want to play, I think this thing is quite overpriced when it comes to the performance nowadays. Is it really bad? Not really. They should like lower the price, or you just like build something yourself for less money and having almost the same kind of performance. Let me know in the comments what kind of platforms you love to play. Thank you for watching, and it will be great to see you in the next video.